Good morrow and happy today.
Happy today, man. Good to see you. The
Good
Oracle.
to see you as well. Um, how are I didn't ask you, how are the Mariners doing?
Don't even get me started on the Mariners. I'm going to be real honest with you, and I'll do this really quick, and then we'll thank some
Yeah.
sponsors here. I'm not the biggest Mariner fan. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
like I've grown up here in this town. I was raised on Seattle sports, and for most of us here, we're like, "Yeah, we're fair
You
weather
know,
fans." Seriously, we're
oh,
not.
I got you. Hey, no, that's you're honest. But
Yeah,
no, I just intrigued because I know you're a huge Seahawks fan, and I
I'm the
know
yeah,
you
yeah. I
want the
love my
Sonics.
town. I
You want
love
the
my
Sonics
city.
to
I
come back.
do. But
So
I'm just not that excited. I've never been that excited about the Mariners. We have a long tradition of mediocrity and losing. And, I think that after, 40 plus years, a lot of us who've lived here are a little jaded. And we'd like to see them do well, but we're not like passionate. It's not in our blood. We're not like, oh my gosh. For some folks, they are. And that's awesome. And God bless them. That's great. But for my family,
you're like, no. Yeah, that's true. I never see any Mariners gear. I don't think I've ever seen you rock the M hat. So
no,
that makes sense. But
no.
I was just because, like, my squad's the Phillies, and
Yeah.
they were stinking it up the first week of the opening season, but
Yeah.
now they're just whoo, like yesterday's the day before's game. I think it was like 9-3 or something like
But
that.
that's a team with a rich history of winning, right?
Yeah,
They're known to, over the course of history, be winners. You look at the course of history of the Mariners,
not so
that
much.
pretty much sums up their history. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not trying to hate on them. I think they're a great team. I think their heart's in the right place. They've got a lot of potential talent, but they've just never been able to put the pieces together consistently year after year after year. So, anyways, we're
Yes.
not talking baseball. I feel
Yeah,
like we
I
should
know, I
have
know, I
Alexander
know. We should,
Lores
we
and
should.
Michael Rippey in here.
um, let's thank our sponsors, Quantum Economics, Quantum Expeditions,
Yes.
obviously Shield Folio. Um,
Thank you.
and I'd like to also just comment. I liked your hat and shirt. Nice stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Are
Yeah, I
they
got to
matching?
represent. Well, kind of. It is a theme. I'm again. I support local. I love where I live.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
my
yeah.
community. So this is representing local
Cascades.
206. Yeah, Golden Gardens is a park, is a beach here in the Seattle area, and the Great Pacific Northwest. Again,
Of
another local
course. The
brand. So I
PN
try to
Dub.
support. Yeah, I try to
Where
support
we're
local
both from.
business in the community where I can. Yeah,
Awesome. You're awesome, dude.
I try to be.
So today's episode is called Zettahash, and Zettahash doesn't sound so great. And we did discuss this probably, I think it's episode 3 or 4, where as I am a
Yes.
hash guru and I do study the hash rate chart like a weirdo. Um, and literally, I said it was going to hit 800 exahashes, and guess what it did? Just a little few days ago.
801,
Yeah,
802.
I think on Coin Wars, and you can pull that up, Nick. We can see right now it's about 600 ish, and it looks like
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be trending downward a little bit. So wouldn't be surprised if we see a pullback in the hash rate, which isn't uncommon after having, but we're not seeing the mega pullback that we've seen after. Other post halvings, especially when the Great China Migration, even though that was like I think a year after the halving, it
Mm-hmm.
still led to this huge reduction in power, and then the price did tumble down with it. Um, but the one thing, like I said, I wanted to show is the actual all-time high, and it's right down here. I think it was like 813 and some change, and obviously that kind of balanced out over the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here it is, April 23rd, hit 813.61 exahashes. That's a lot of power, y'all. And today's episode is Zettahash, so I think it is right here. Let's go over you know what we're seeing right now, right? So right now we did about 800, we saw 813 exahashes. So Bitcoin's doing 1 quintillion calculations per second. And we're about to
Remarkable.
get, yeah, it's insane. We're about to get into the 1 sextillion calculations. That is what a zettahash is. And if we go scroll back up and we look at an all time uh, chart here. Oh yeah, they kind of changed it up on me. Okay, this is an all-time historical chart. Let's see if I can just zoom. There we go. And you can see the hash rate over the last, like, literally, I want to say 4 years almost, ever since the Great China Migration, which is right here, um, of 21. Look at what the hash rate has done. It's consistently been going up higher and higher and higher. And if we just look at a 1 year chart, um, here's those peaks.
Yeah.
And this peak right here, which was the all time high on the 23rd, usually it's about a 14-day turnaround. And we do see some, momentum, upward price momentum. And again, I can't tell you what the price is going to be on that day because it all depends on where Bitcoin is on that day. But everything points to May 7th. We're going to see some more pumpy pump. And that's a Tuesday. So, me as somebody who studies patterns, it's traditionally over the last, I think, 8 to 10 weeks been on a Wednesday or a Monday. So
Hmm.
thinking we're going to see that possibly May 8th, we do see some pumpy pump and Bitcoin goes back into the 65, 75 range for a little while, maybe higher. Don't know for 100%, but again, we're not seeing that major pullback. And we are seeing, like I said, just by this chart here, we can see that it wants to touch this line here. And this, let me just go back. So it wants to touch this line right here, and we can see it is pressing upwards towards a Zettahash. And again, the people that have over the years is like, oh, Bitcoin's power is so much, blah blah. Human power consumption, if we look at a chart, is a hockey stick. It will continue to be a hockey stick for the uh, continuing of human civilization, right? So anyone that thinks that that's going down, you don't understand, human development because we'll continually use energy. We just have to learn to use different forms, right?
Yeah. And just kind of piggybacking on that, I just shared a study this morning, and it's on my screen, Nick, if you want to pull it up. Something that we've already known and that you've talked about at great length, Oracle, is the Bitcoin versus banks and the recent power study coming out from a Bitcoin mining company out of Texas called Payless Power, and the Texas-based retail energy provider presenting compelling insights that challenge the prevailing views on energy consumption by Bitcoin mining compared to traditional banking system. So again, the article's up there. We've talked about this ad nauseum, but again, I
Yeah.
think it just goes to reinforce, even when retail, utility companies are putting out information and documentation with data points that substantiate, like, hey, look, this is actually consuming less energy, uses more renewable energy, excuse me, and is actually better for the planet than the TradFi system that we've already been using for the past how many too long decades, thousands of years if you really want to, but nonetheless, I digress.
Yeah, and again, like, if we just talk about, if we even step away from the traditional banking system, which uses tons and tons of energy with their data centers that they have to,
Yeah.
they have huge data centers that they need, just like Amazon.
And that's what this goes into. It's the data centers, and I think that also kind of goes back to how that battle between AI and the data centers there, and the power that's consumed, and how do we manage that?
Yeah, and again, like I was trying to take a little side tangent, is look at gold mining, right? Gold mining and silver mining, platinum mining. These forms of geological exploration to basically poke more holes into Mother Earth, uses extensive amounts of energy,
Yeah.
highly toxic, highly dangerous. I just heard of another gold uh, mine in South America where they sometimes have to build these reservoirs, and sometimes these reservoirs collapse, right, and then they run down the side of this mountain, and then they
Hmm.
destroy these villages, right, that are in the valleys of these mines, right. So again, Bitcoin stops that, right?
It
Bitcoin
does.
protects mountains. Bitcoin is more environmentally friendly than anything ever created, right? So when people throw around these salacious um statements like Elizabeth Warren again over the last couple of days saying that, child trafficking is done with Bitcoin. No, it's not. This is 100% a lie. Do you know what it's done with?
Yeah.
It's done with, dollars. Shocking. But let's not call out the 4 million pound gorilla in the room, which is USD, right? Like, I do have the clip from last episode, I believe, where we discussed this, right? Let me share that tab, and I'm just gonna get to the juicy part of that clip. It's like
Just
the
get to the
last
juicy
shit he
part,
just
Gerald.
dropped in that last sentence, right? So the Chinese mafia is working coordination with the Chinese government, with the cartels, to smuggle in fentanyl and then launder their marijuana money for them. Is anyone listening to this? Yeah, is anybody listening? Because Bitcoin's not a problem. That's a fucking
That's
problem.
a problem.
That's a fucking real problem, right? That we have literally mass amounts of legal and illegal, they're probably mostly all illegal agents operating in our country, right? This is a major problem.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, no, Bitcoin's not a problem. You're using your FUD tactics to scare more people away from it. And then in another couple months, right, what's about to happen? Literally, the ETF is about to be added to all these other banksters' portfolios, right?
Mhm.
And do you think this price is going to remain flat and crabby? No.
Yeah, the reports even this week, I think, were circulating on the app, and folks who follow you or Bitcoin Live, the network, we're really good about disseminating the information, and that's, it looks like BNYMellon, one of the oldest banks, if not one of the oldest bank in the U.S., with their 13F filings, are rumored to be offering Bitcoin ETFs. So, yeah.
And again, you I think reported about this many years ago. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, where BNY was going to be working with who is it? The New York Digital to add Bitcoin to
Yeah.
their portfolio in 21 or 22. So
Mhm.
BNY has been itching to get into Bitcoin and understand why it's important. And the fact that they're still convincing people that it's bad, it's got bad traits, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for people, it is all just their only tactic, right?
Yeah.
Is fear. That's their only tactic. And again, you can't stop it, right? It is the most emergent technology we've seen, and it is taking over. The virus has been let out of Pandora's box. You cannot put it back in. The whole crap with Samurai Wallet and all these
Yeah,
Bitcoin mixers.
that's a big thing this week that we haven't even touched yet.
Yeah, but let's bring it up. They warned about this in 22, right? They warned
Yeah.
about
No,
Samurai.
yeah, yeah.
They warned about the mixers, and I steered clear of mixing services from that. I didn't even touch one because in 21 they started hinting that, oh, you want privacy? Nope, we're gonna wipe that out of the equation. And we don't need it, right? Like I tell people, we don't need privacy. We don't need even L2s, right? L1 can do it, and people are like, no, it can't. I'm like, yes, it can.
But let me ask you this: when your L1 is backed up and the fees are $280 some to move the money, does that really make it the ROI on moving it doesn't seem to pan out when you do the math,
well,
and so and
so
part of that is I understand, but to me somebody and I experience I mean I experienced it. I'm just going to be dox
oh
myself
yeah,
there for a
no,
moment. I
you're
shouldn't have,
totally
but I did.
that's
But over
honest.
over that past weekend, after the halving and with everything going on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ouch. Like there's got to be a little bit, and I know that the fees have come down, and I understand why they are the way they are. But
Yeah,
just as again, there needs to be maybe an alternative or something because I don't want to be waiting, 30 days or however long. I'm still seeing reports of people that they're not getting their transfers put through or their transactions put through.
yeah. So again, we're still in the nascent years of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's only 15 years old. But let's just back it up for a second and go over how, batch transactions and settlements work in the real world, right? So you go to Eddie Bauer and you
Right.
swipe your Visa and or your Amex. Um, oh yeah, thank you, Nick, for pulling up the tweet. Yes,
Snowden.
yeah, Snowden basically saying the same thing that we're talking about. Department of Justice is criminalizing developers, and you're criminalizing freedom of speech. Let's cover that real quick, right? Code is speech. You can't ban speech, and that's what you're doing, right? So you're violating the Constitution, and if they have good constitutional lawyers, that's the first thing they're going to throw on the table is,
Mhm.
yeah, you can't violate our constitutional amendment to freedom of speech. Code is
Right.
speech. You can't ban speech. Suck it. Bye. But yeah.
That's the expert analysis that I come here for every 2 weeks. Can't ban it. Suck it. Bye. See, that is you're not gonna get that on Bloomberg, man. You're not gonna see the guys on Bloomberg, the gals on Bloomberg giving
Well,
you
I
that
still,
kind of
but
analysis.
I still see some of the newbie Bitcoiners and maxis that still think they can do something. Are they going to shut down the whole damn internet?
No,
No,
you know, and I know, and that's why they're
I
new, and
know.
they've
That's
got
why
to go through the process.
I bought more Bitcoin last night. Not a lot, but I stacked more sats last night because I was
Yeah.
looking at the chart. Oh, it's a dip. It's a dip. Oh, you know what we do on the dips?
Mm-hmm.
Buy the motherfucking dip.
We smash by. That's what you want to do. Smash buy the dip, the guac, the hummus, the salsa. Buy it all, baby.
Yeah.
All of
And
it.
and again, they can't stop it, right? Their whole move is to now keep the price in the crab zone, right?
And that's
Because
where we've been. We've been in this crab chop, for actually since the halving. It's
yeah,
kind of been this crab chop, and I think there's people are kind of getting a little bored and complacent of like 63, 64. I know the 58K gang is hoping that they can get a chance to use those memes, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Let me throw a
huh?
curveball at you. I just want to be like live and in the moment here, and something that's
Mhm.
really big on the radar. I think a lot of us are looking towards is the Safe Banking Act, and it looks like there's going to be some stablecoin regulation coming soon. We're hearing work from Maxine Waters and her side of the house, working with some bipartisan lawmakers, Senator Lummis and Gillibrand as well. So there seems to be something coming in the works in regards to stablecoin regulation and what that means for the markets. Your thoughts on that, Gerald?
Yeah. I mean, well, first off, obviously, in I think it was like 2020, SEC put out a statement to all the exchanges, pretty much when the stablecoin craze was going nuts, right? And there was literally I don't know how many different derivations of fiat dollars floating around multiple
Right.
blockchains. There still are, but they put out a cease and desist order to Uniswap, and they listed dozens and dozens of algo based stable coins. And literally after I read that document, I went onto my podcast, my Telegram group, which I haven't been very active in recently. I apologize to anybody that's in there. um, and I basically warn people, like, stay away from stable coins. They're coming after stable coins because stable coins are a bigger threat to the dollar than Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin protects the dollar, right? Because I tell people, like, if you've been saving in Bitcoin, like, how you doing? You're doing pretty damn good. It's protecting
Yeah.
your dollars, right? Stable coins unfortunately flood the market with too many dollars, and that's affects inflation more than Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually does the opposite; it deflates. So again, anybody, I see all these TikTok people still like, oh my god, oh my god, so tough. Yeah, well, guess what? Stop saving and debt slavery coupons, because that's what they are,
Yeah.
literally. And you'll have a much healthier lifestyle.
A lot of folks seem to be think that stablecoins offer a lot of potential on the upside as well. And I've got the tweet from earlier this week, Nick, if you want to just kind of pull it up. Talking again, Lummis, Gillibrand, McHenry, Maxine Waters, and what is this? What does this regulation mean? One thing that I heard is that they want to be able to audit whether it's somebody like Tether or Circle or maybe, you know, whoever has a stable coin, they want to be able to audit and say, hey, do you really have the funds to back it up? And that's part of this regulation, I think, that is being worked into the Safe Banking Act. Walk for folks like myself who maybe might not know all. How would you actually check the books on that? Like, is there like I mean, it's not on the blockchain, is it? Or is it actually on the blockchain? Like, hey, we have a gajillion dollars that back up our stable coin. How do they audit those, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, so it all depends on what they decide to do, right? So
Okay.
the first thing that, all of these people who are afraid of, Fed coin or, the USDC equivalency that they're going to create, or the tether that they're going to create, first off, we have to be very careful, right? The government's not very good at building technology.
No,
First
no,
off,
they're not.
so they usually hire private firms to do this, right? Um, if they built something on like Algorand, yes, it could be auditable very instantly, very quickly, very cheaply. If they did this on something like Ethereum or Bitcoin, no, that becomes very costly and problematic. I used to think, right? I used to be a big proponent that you could do stable coins on Ethereum. I don't think it's safe and or should be done because of like think of the gas fees. Like if you wanted to go, think of the gas fees if you just wanted to buy a six pack at 7-Eleven, right? And you swipe your card, it's like six packs like $12, gas fees
Yeah,
$375.
exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. And then people go, well, L2s. And then you go like, okay, well, there's two schools of thought on L2s for Ethereum, and that's OP rollups and ZK rollups. And somebody who's a nerdozoid like me, the basic difference between the two, the layman's terms, is that ZK rollups are zero knowledge proof rollups, right? So you can't ever know you don't have nobody know like the other party doesn't know the solution. They don't have the key or the proof, right? It's just
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
part of the equation, right?
Right.
And optimistic rollups, they don't have that feature, and there's a big flaw to optimistic
Hmm.
rollups where somebody can take a spoofed transaction, a fake transaction, and put it
Hmm.
into that
Right. Yeah.
Ethereum layer 2 batch, and when it
That's why it
settles,
gets sketchy, man. That's where it
yeah,
gets sketchy.
and that's why I've warned about Base,
Yeah.
right? Base is built on OP rollups, so you're going to see a whole bunch of shenanigans on Base this
Yeah.
bull run. You've already seen a whole bunch of scams, right? They've gone from Ethereum to Binance to Solana to
Yep.
now we're going to Base.
Yeah.
So again, I think
It's I'm
L2s,
sorry.
I think for
Yeah.
Ethereum, yeah, just real quick, one more sentence. I think they're great if you're gonna like build a video game on it and run that video game, etc. Cool, or other things that are internet fun stuff, but you don't want to build bonds or a dollar. I think on Ethereum or its L2s, or Bitcoin, and or its L2s. I think the main thing they need to do for Bitcoin, and I've been thinking about this for probably like over a couple years. I would say a year or two, and I'm just going to throw it out there because I know it can be done. Because as somebody who's uh, pretty new to code myself, even though I know more Python than the average pleb, I think it's time that we start discussing where I said earlier we don't need L2s for Bitcoin. We kind of do, but we need to make it interoperable, right? Where I can take my sats, right, move them from L1 to L2, and then de-channel them, right? I can move them right off the channel and back to L1. And as soon as that happens, everything else is done, in my
Mm,
opinion.
yeah.
Uh,
Just to finish up, you got the ZK roll ups and your other two, but the one that doesn't get a lot of attention are the fruit roll ups because those are the
of
best. They've
course.
traditionally been the most delicious of the roll ups. I love the strawberry fruit roll ups. I used to get them in my lunch as a kid all the time. So really, your ZK roll ups and your zero proof roll ups, I'm gonna go
Not
with
as
the
fun.
fruit roll-ups. Hey,
Yeah.
one thing that came across our radar this week.
Oh wait, fun fact about
Yeah,
fruit roll-ups. My
what's
dad
up?
actually was one of the engineers that
Invented
designed the
them?
machine. Yeah,
Oh, get
designed the
out of
machine.
town. Of course
Well,
he is.
well, he actually helped redesign the machine. So the machine was getting fucked up, and then they send in their engineers. My dad was on the team of engineers. Say, fix this machine from getting all gummed up, so we can make tons of fruit roll-ups. And
God bless your dad.
literally,
He's a saint.
he came home one day with like a box of like their
Box of fruit.
sample fruit roll-ups. Yeah, they're not even in like boxes. They're just like rolled up on the
Yeah.
plastic in this huge box. And he's like, here you go. And I was like, yeah.
We scored. Hey, this came across the wire this week, and this was an interesting story. It got a lot of attention. Is Jack? You know Jack. Everybody knows Jack. Jack Dorsey,
Which
right?
Jack? Oh,
Jack
Dorsey. Okay.
Dorsey. Yeah,
I was gonna
Jack.
say because there's the other
Yeah.
Jack who's pretty famous too.
I'm
Dollars.
talking Jack Dorsey. So Jack is yeah, that's true, Mollers. But Jack is they've announced they're going to be launching a Bitcoin mining a chip, a service, a program. Your thoughts on that, and what do you think makes this, from what you've been able to digest in this short amount of time, what makes this operation when it comes to Bitcoin mining different and unique compared to some of the traditional models, or maybe even our friends at Quantum Expeditions, where they are actively mining Bitcoin right now in West Texas?
So the main thing I know they're trying to utilize high levels of renewables for their mining operations. Also, they did just drop their first cold storage wallet, and guess what? It has a thumbprint scanner on it. Hardened biometrics, and we've
Wow.
discussed that on the show. Funny, but yeah, I think the new chip, along with their new wallet, along with what they're doing, Jack's headed in the right direction. He sees the future. He knows it's all Bitcoin based. So he's like Sailor, building all these tools and services, building all these picks and shovels for the Bitcoin ecosystem. And he's a smart man. It's as
There we go.
simple as
Yeah,
that.
Jack Dorsey's
Yeah.
block. Thank you, Nick, for pulling that up.
Yeah. And again, I would let me guess, the chip uses less energy. Guess who said that like 3 years ago? And people said I was crazy. Oh, yeah, this guy. It's again. Um, as I look into the future, right? I said this before these new chips came out from, Block, and I think even Nvidia put one out 2 years ago, right? After I said like they're just going to design better ASICs, right? That use less energy. Like this isn't rocket science, because when as somebody who's the oracle who looks into crystal balls, like I look at these mining farms, and to me, as somebody who can see in the future 20 years, they look ancient to me, right? They're going to take up way less space in the future. They're not going to be like, it's going to be like,
Right. They're going to be very quiet.
yeah, very quiet, very
Technology will.
yeah. If you haven't heard of these wind turbines, right? So this company invented these wind turbines, I think in 2019 or 2020, where they're
Mhm.
like the size, I want to say like maybe like a 6 foot cutout, right? They're about that tall. They're probably like 100 pounds, but they can put them on any street anywhere, and literally
Mm.
they get the currents from passing vehicles. And just one of these things, guess how much do you think can generate in power?
1.21 gigawatts.
Close. It does about 1 kilowatt, I think, an hour. So I mean, that's
I
a
just
lot of
snorted.
juice.
I'm sorry, dude.
That's all right.
Uh,
So that's a lot of juice, and I think the next evolution in renewables is more wind based. Solar is definitely not going anywhere, but wind is improving by leaps and
Did
bounds.
you see this? I shared the story this week. It's on my page. Tanzania, however you want to call it, apparently had to shut down like 5 different dams because they're producing, get this, too much energy, too much electricity, and they can't use it. They can't
Oh,
keep it in the grid. And so Tanzania had to shut down like 5 dams. And I'm like, and this is a country that historically has a problem with electricity and blackouts and power outages, and now they've got too much electricity. There you go. Thank you, Nick. God, Nick is so good. Bitcoin
he's a
Live Network,
ball.
killing it. Thank you. He's right there on it, producing it behind the scenes. But yes, look at this. So, like, my thought, my question is, hello, Quantum Expeditions. let's take an expedition to Tanzania and hook up some
Yeah.
miners and start stacking.
Yeah, again, Tanzania literally should be listening to you. The full stop. If you're just throwing energy away, that means you're throwing Bitcoin down the drain.
Oh, that's a good tweet right there. If you're throwing energy away, you're throwing Bitcoin away.
Yeah, it's literally you're just
Yeah.
throwing money down the drain. um, don't forget.
Yeah, Nick there with a good point. Yeah, Paraguay
Very
possibly
good.
legalizing
Yeah,
Bitcoin is tender.
they're not the only ones, right? If you guys are
Mm.
aware, Lord Fusitua, who is I believe, I want to say the
He's the
prime
lord
minister.
of
Yeah, I want to say he's the prime minister of Tonga, right?
yeah.
um, he's been working with his government very closely for 4 or 5 years now to
Oh
try and
yeah.
get
For a
Bitcoin is
long time.
legalized. Yeah. So again, they're Paraguay, Tonga, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Russia. There's all these countries hinting that they're going to legalize Bitcoin payments. And what did I see? I don't know where the article is, but where did I see just 2 weeks ago? Oh, Russia's going to start using Bitcoin for capital goods purchases. Wonder who said that.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well, the other story that came across the radar this week was BRICS announcing that they're looking to form and use their own stable coin. And that was a question that was brought up in a different program. If they were to launch a stable coin, what network would it be on? What your thoughts again on just BRICS issuing a stable coin?
So again, all these countries coming out. We've had, I want to say, over the last 4 years, we've had probably like 20 to almost, I want to say, 60 countries say, we're going to make a stable coin.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, again, countries aren't good at building technology. That goes across the board. It doesn't matter if you're a first world power or an emerging market. Most countries aren't good at building technology. And if you look at the Naira, it's not doing well. It's actually been failing. And the Naira itself, it's just lost some value. I just saw an article yesterday. It's lost all its gains over the last few weeks against the dollar, because the dollar has been riding this high wave, right, of 106. I think I have the DXY chart pulled
DXY
up.
chart, yeah.
Yeah, let me pull that up for you guys. And as you can see, this is, I believe,
Oh, there's Mr. Greenspan making a special cameo appearance. Hey, Matty Greenspan, the CEO and founder.
India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. Quite an eclectic bunch if you're following what's happening in global geopolitics at the moment. These are basically the enemies of the United States, Britain, Europe, and they are fighting two proxy wars at the moment. What's important to note is that China already has their own digital currency, the digital yuan or renminbi, which has been already deployed in various stages since April 2021. So the more important news here is not that they're creating a stable coin or that blockchain is involved, but actually that they're looking to take their economic union to the next level, similar to what Europe has done by creating the euro. They want to create their own kind of global currency to combat the dollar. The fact that blockchain is involved, it only makes sense because that's the cutting edge technology that one would use when creating a international currency.
There you go. Nick is on it. Bitcoin Live.
And yeah, and that's perfect segue. So that's China's plan, right? But how's it been going since they've kicked out the miners? Not so good. Do you know who's using the digital renminbi, the yuan, whatever you want to call it? The people that, yeah, free money. Oh yes, I'll take your free money. Yeah, most middle class, upper middle class people don't want it. Wonder why? Because they track it and they follow you, and if you don't spend it in X amount of time, guess what? Oh, it expires.
It evaporates. That's the thing that I think a lot of people, when we talk about stable coins, the awareness that is a certain option that can be programmed into it, and that's a really, really big concern. And I don't even know if like folks like Perrianne and Dennis Porter have even brought that up too much in their conversations with the masses, because that might be a little even like steps down the road. Like if you're just kind of learning about stable coins and some of the concerns, that might be like level 201 or 301, you know what I mean? But
Well,
but it's
again,
a very important factor.
it is, right? Debt slavery coupons, right? You're
Yeah.
literally, that's not a joke when I say those words in that nice little sandwich, right?
There
Debt
you go.
slavery coupons, right? So now China is saying, here's your debt slavery coupons, and they expire on this date. And if you don't use them by this date, guess what? Poof.
Doesn't that
They're
destroy the whole purpose of saving, right? Of saving and stacking wealth, though. So it seems like there's a whole paradigm shift away and an ideology of what money's used for and how money should be used.
Yeah, and again, more and more of bastardized Keynesian economics is being embraced, right? Um,
Yeah.
and let's segue into that, right? So, as I stated, I think it was in August when I saw the Panama Canal backing up. Inflation's not going anywhere because look at this. This is going to back up all this transport, and that's going to lead to higher prices across the board, right? So, uh,
Yeah.
they're literally, what do you think they're about to do? Oh, 2%'s not high enough. 4%.
They're gonna raise the bar.
Yes,
They're
of course.
moving the field goal. They're moving the goal.
Yep, moving the goalposts. Yeah, and when they do that, whether it's 2.5 or 3.5 or 4%, whatever it is, it's coming, right? It's coming. And when they say, "Oh, 2%'s not the goal anymore, it's 3%," they're going to have to rewrite history again, backpedal, 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 and guess what? Bitcoin fixes this. Yeah. And again, Bitcoin loves it. I've said this since 2020. Bitcoin, you want to do QE? Bitcoin loves it. You want to do QT? Bitcoin loves it. It doesn't give a shit. You want to add more dollars? Awesome. It'll suck it up. You want to take dollars away? Boom. It'll go up because you're taking dollars away. Oh, yes. Here,
This
play
was
it. Play it.
this was one of the gems of the week. Way to go, Nick. He's on it.
Everybody's in debt. Why don't we just print more money? And hold on, because I've heard the whole inflation, it'll go up topic. Well, just don't. Just don't make it go up. Just get the printers going. Let's print some more money. Like, the world would be a better place if I was president. I'm not stupid.
No, you're not.
But like, for real though.
Yeah, you are.
Should I like go tell the president? Like, hey, I know we were having some financial problems.
Yeah, well,
no idea.
Guess what? They're going to do exactly what you want, but you will have none of it. That's what people don't get, right? So let's explain to the young lady that printing more dollars is inflation. That is inflating the supply. And as you inflate the supply, what happens? You have more dollars competing for less goods and services. So the prices of said goods and services do the opposite. But if you save in Bitcoin, oh, guess what? Oh, your money is going in the direction, the prices are going not in the opposite direction like dollars do. The end. This is why you need Bitcoin. Are you listening? Are you listening, America? This is why you need Bitcoin. Thank you. Amen. Oh, yeah, I'm running for president 2028. Only thing on the agenda is eliminating income tax and legalizing corn. That's it. For
Nick's
me.
got, what do you got, Nick? Oh, I thought he had a clip up there. Yeah, what's
he
the
did.
clip? Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's Jamie.
Being crypto like Bitcoin, I've always said it's a fraud.
No hope for it.
Well, if they think they're a currency, there's no hope for it. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a public decentralized fund.
We are on the verge of.
Yeah.
It's a Ponzi scheme. No,
he's been saying that same rhetoric since 2017 at least. Like, dude, get something new, Jamie. Come on,
and
man.
He's got rats with secret wallets all over the place buying up Bitcoin. right? So and he wants in on the ETF. So he loves Bitcoin. He's just going to keep talking smack until he's told you can't talk smack by Larry anymore. Larry will step in and be like, Jamie, you can't say this shit anymore. And you'll notice it'll be like night and day. Jamie will be like, yeah, Bitcoin, I love it. It's great. Larry, talk to me. And he won't say Larry, talk to me, but he'll just be like, Bitcoin's cool. It does what it does, and I like it. And literally, it'll be like flipping a switch. And on that day, it's like,
do you think he
Larry
really will
talked
though?
to
Do you really think he will come out public? I don't think. I think he's so entrenched, and he's been sticking to that narrative for so long. It's almost he's almost painted himself into a corner. Look, smart people are smart enough to go like, I need to change my mind when presented with new facts, right? I mean,
yeah,
but I don't think he's in that. He's not going to be able to do that. Unlike Larry Fink, who obviously came out and he actually said like, oh, he made me a culpa, like, oh, I was wrong. Ooh.
yeah.
I don't see Jamie doing that. I don't think he has the testicular fortitude, you know what I'm saying, to do it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but let's go to I have the other clip that I made a little snippet.
Mm. I love
All
when
right.
you make snippets, G. You don't make enough snippets. We got to get you doing more of the snippets, man. 'Cause you're like the snippet king. Snip it up. Let's do
all right,
it.
let's
Snippet.
pull this up. And again, we've talked about this
Oh
many
yes,
times.
Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence
Larry
Leopard.
Leopard, yeah.
Yeah, this guy's an OG, man. This guy's super smart.
Yeah, and he's
God,
super smart.
I love this analogy too, dude. Oh, I love
Yeah,
this one.
here
Hit
it
it.
is.
What's happening is everybody's going to one day agree that Bitcoin is money. I mean, a lot of us already know that, but some people don't. Some people don't believe that it's money, but the number of those people are shrinking and the number of people who believe are growing. As long as that trend continues, Bitcoin's going to be money. I mean, it already is, but it's going to be, and if you look at its properties, if you look at its characteristics, I mean, that's what led Saylor to go, this is a better weapon. I mean, it's or safe to say, we just invented gunpowder and gold guys have got spears and and axes. I mean, fucking gunpowder's going to win.
Correct.
What's happening is everybody's going to one day agree.
Correct. This guy gets it.
Yeah, that guy's an OG, and if you're not following Lawrence, you should. He's one of the best and brightest out there. I love his content. I love what he has to say, and I love that he's of the age and of that point in life where he just don't give a fuck, man. He's just gonna let it rip. He's gonna just be 100% transparent, and if you don't like what he says, well, don't follow, mute, or whatever. But he's keeping it real. He's keeping it spicy, and he's bringing facts, not FUD.
Yeah, and we've discussed this topic many times, right? When is an emergent technology this powerful come out and a civilization has fought against it and won? None. The answer is zero. When it comes to we went over this, I think it was like episode 3, when it comes to the evolution of, Bronze Age to Iron Age to steel, right, to gunpowder. All of those civilizations that fought the tide were literally wiped out.
Yeah.
Wiped off the map. Because they're like, nope, we're not gonna mess with those carbonized steel blades. That's just
well, and
crazy.
you look at China's history in the 20th century. Look at how they transformed their society, their government, and their economy from a agricultural-based driven economy in the early 1900s to where they finally, like in the whole industrial revolution under Mao Zedong, they actually like, oh my gosh, we're going to get left behind if we don't modernize and industrialize our base. And I think that's the same analogy that we see playing out with technology, with Bitcoin and with payments across the globe.
And this is a fact. First world country people don't understand why they need Bitcoin because they haven't faced massive inflation.
We've had banks all of our life. We just go to the bank and blah, 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 and we get money out of the machine and we just swipe and we don't have to worry because those infrastructures have been built over time. And again, we're first world country, so we reap the benefits of that.
Yeah. So it literally just in the last, I want to say since 2019, right? I want to say 2021, just in the last 3 or 4 years, it's the first time the West has seen massive, inflation, hyperinflation, since the 70s, right? So we saw it here with food prices, right? People were paying $30 to $50 a dozen, for their eggs, right?
Yeah.
And if you go to Europe, it was, their utilities, right? Their natural gas price poo, right?
Yeah.
So again, inflation is going to keep rearing its ugly head because the West is horrible at the money printer game, right? So going back to that young lady, they're going to do exactly what you want, but
Mhm.
you not be a part of that. Right? They're going to print more money. We already know this. I said this like 8 months ago. The Burr machine will be back. They're going to pass stimulus packages for the country. Stimulus package for Ukraine just passed, right? Et cetera, et cetera.
Well, but we see ourselves even like right now. Even John Najarian was talking about it this week, and I think a lot of commentators in the last 48 to 72 hours, the word is coming back. We're seeing stagflation, where it's not coming down. And that's why the Fed is not going to cut rates, and we're kind of in this purgatory in between. Like, well, then what do we do? And I think from one person I really love is Peter St. Onge, right? Peter
Yeah,
St.
yeah,
Onge, if
yeah.
you follow him.
Yep, yep.
Again, there's only two outcomes to get out of this, and they've got to let it all burn, right? Or they've got to print more. And you get and his analogy was, you look what's happened in Japan, and you kind of can see what's going on there right now. And they just gotta keep keep printing, and just makes it worse and worse, or eventually it's going to break. And I think, and a lot of folks have also said this, that they're just going to let it go until it breaks, and then they got to come up, then they'll launch the new. And I think part of that will involve, a digital currency, and they're going to have to say, oh, we're going to put it on the blockchain because it's going to be safer and there'll be transparency, and we'll, a lot of the things that is true. It does, and like you've even heard Larry Fink echoing these talking points, and again, all of these things are pointing to me, a big flashing red light on the dashboard saying, danger, economic crisis ahead, be smart, be safe, stack sats hodl, is what it's telling me.
Yeah. Again,
good point here, Nick, saying let it collapse creates chaos and the likely order restructuring. Exactly. Order out of chaos. That's their playbook. That's what they do. Order out of chaos.
yeah, again, I think if you reread that, he was stating, inflation is more controllable to them, right? It's a more slow burn, and that's how they like it, right? They can print
orderly
more money.
restructuring.
Oh, yeah, and again, go back to all the wars that we've burned through, trillions of dollars, the pandemic, somewhere between exactly what I said. They said they were going to do 3. I said it would be closer to 12. And that's where we're at, right? They spent like 15 or 20 trillion dollars we don't have. And now people are surprised that all of these things are inflated. All these prices are inflated. I'm not surprised. It sucks. But the only thing you can do is to protect your dollars, is to save in a monetary system that defends your dollars, right? And let's go over the fact that China tried this, right? They're trying to they tried to kick out the miners. They tried to separate themselves from Bitcoin, and look what happened to their economy. And just a few weeks ago, oh yeah, we're going to be adding the ETFs, or we're not. Oh, we are. We're not. Oh, we are. Oh, we're not.
It is.
They
but
play this game all the time.
But mainland China, and we've known that mainland China does not have access to the ETFs. It's Hong Kong now. There's probably some loopholes, and that folks might be trying to get cute, but it's predominantly a Hong Kong related thing. Mainland, not so much. And maybe they change that over time. I don't know, but that's
Yeah, and again, if you actually read the law from China, they don't ban Bitcoin; they just ban Bitcoin mining. There's a huge distinction there. So Bitcoin's not illegal. Bitcoin mining is legal.
And-
So and illegal
and
mining,
the thing
right?
with these-
There are still legal miners in China, right? That play by the rules and follow the law, and they still exist. But there are many people why they came down so hard in China is because there's many people jacking power illegally, right? Setting up these sketchy
Yes.
operations
Oh, yeah.
that could
Oh,
literally burn down a neighborhood, right? Like, let's be clear. There's not everyone should be Bitcoin mining, because we don't want you to, fry your neighbor or electrocute yourself, et cetera, et cetera. The list is endless, right?
And this goes back to where I think regulation can be a very scary thing.
I'd love to see some proof of that, Nick. That would be awesome. But yeah, Bitcoin can't be stopped, right? We saw China try this, and now America is going to waste millions and millions of taxpayer dollars trying the same thing. And all you're going to do is hurt Americans and the American economy. Because again, Bitcoin has been defending the dollar since about 2012. Ever since, Tether's come out and people been saving in it, Bitcoin's been defending the dollar. You putting up these walls or you putting up these fences, thinking A, you're going to do jack shit is hilarious. But B is just wasting taxpayers' dollars when you should be learning how to integrate into this new monetary system and start stacking sats for a national Bitcoin treasury. Let's talk about that. National Bitcoin treasury should be on the lips of anyone running for president. Who's running for president in 2028? Oh, me. Yeah, so we should have a national Bitcoin treasury because let's be very, very, very clear. You have to have the best asset in the world on your books to protect your economy. Facts.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And again, my only agenda is legalizing Bitcoin and eliminating income tax. And people go, oh, you can't eliminate income tax. Oh, yes, you can. You totally can. Let me tell you. Do you know what was built in 1869?
We can't fund all these wars, Gerald. If we eliminate the income tax, we got to fund all these wars. We got to keep the military industrial complex humming, man. I mean,
yeah,
dude,
exactly.
Don't be a Debbie Downer on this. Hey, let me ask you this. You're talking about taxes, and since you're running for office, Mr. President, let me throw this one at you in the remaining moments that we have here, and regarding taxes. The Biden administration saying they want to propose 44% capital gains on unrealized. Is that unrealized capital gains?
Imaginary gains?
Yes, yeah, unrealized cap gains. They want to start taxing people on this. So my question, and I think others around the web have been commenting like, well, what does that mean for folks who are homeowners? If I bought my house at $300,000 and now it's valued at $550,000 or $600,000, do I have to pay cap gains on that because it's an unrealized capitalized gain? And I think for a lot of folks who are homeowners, they say fucking bullshit on that. I'm sorry, but that's what that is.
Agreed. And also, what's the reverse? What if you bought a house that's like $1 million and now it's worth like 600,000? So are you allowed to take imaginary losses?
Yeah. Oh yeah, unrealized losses.
Yeah. So, well, guess
what? So where do we draw the line? And how would you, as a politician, or even from a poli-sci background, how do you address that?
Yeah. So first off, I do have a degree in political science, which means I probably know more about what goes on Washington than most of the people in Washington. This is a fact. I'm not trying to BS. I know Robert's Rules of Order very well, probably better than 90%, unless you're Mitch McConnell, because he's been in there for 1,000 years.
Mitch McConnell. Hey, did you see his new profile photo? I was really excited to share. I'm sorry, since you brought up Mitch
Turtle
McConnell,
Boy?
Nick. Nick, I got it on my page. It's so funny. But yeah, here it is. Here's his latest PFP. It's on my page.
Nice. Hey, Mitch, it's a beautiful PFP. I love it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and I think
so Mitch McConnell, man.
Is that turtle? I think it's like almost 200 years old.
That's about how old McConnell is, I think.
Exactly. So I mean, how do we tackle this? It's not hard, right? Like, we don't need these crazy capital gains tax. All this is just, first off, it's just scare tactics, more scare tactics from the executives at the top, and they can't do this, right? You're gonna tax imaginary gains. It's like, come on, this is just insane. And going back to my agenda for eliminate income tax, I tell people 1869, the Union Pacific Railroad was finished in Utah with the Golden Spike, and we didn't have income tax in 1869. So one of the biggest infrastructure projects in the whole country's history was completed, and we didn't have income taxes. And roads were built, and towns were built, and we went right through the 1920s and 30s, and America got huge, and we didn't have income tax. So we don't need income tax.
So how do things get paid for then? How do government officials?
Oh, so we're not going to, we're not going to eliminate all taxes, right? So we're not going to eliminate fuel tax and sin tax and vice taxes and sales tax and all these 9 million other taxes. We won't eliminate, but income tax, yeah.
Nick saying Robert Kennedy, Bitcoin president.
Yeah, but he's been talking about Cardano and Ethereum.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. Yeah,
he just became a super shitcoiner, and no, like as somebody who's a master in shitcoinery, no. I have a master's degree in shitcoinery, and I'm like, no, sorry. I like him though. I still like him. I think his ideas need to be presented. I think he needs a platform. I think he needs to share his ideas. But again, no, shitcoinery is gambling. Let's be very clear. We've discussed this many times. If you're going to make a bet, but realize that money could go poof and be gone, or it could go to the moon, and you could make hundreds, thousands, or millions. But it's gambling. It's degenerate gambling. That's what it is. But, from the maxis that hate it, I can't deter people away from gambling, right? Look at how many DraftKings,
the global society. I think even Nick would say in Amsterdam, I mean, we are online gambling. We're gambling 24/7, 365. They've made it so easy to siphon dollars out of people's pockets in so many different ways.
Going back to Macau, right? I think we were talking about before the show, but some of the biggest casinos in the world are in Macau. So that even the Chinese and the Asians, they love to gamble. Gambling's been around for thousands of years.
Part of the culture.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So that's why shitcoins aren't going anywhere. I hate to bring it to maxis, break it to maxis. I hate shitcoinery to a level, but it's one of those things. It's a tool, right? And I use it for gambling, right? That's all it is. Because again, I have dozens and dozens of Ethereum wallets. It's a zero or null or dashes next to it, where the contract broke, or the dev split, rug pull, bug. Didn't do the latest Denkun upgrade, the 9th millionth upgrade, whatever the case may be. I have dozens and dozens of Ethereum wallets that are totally effing useless. I don't have that happen with Bitcoin. I don't have that happen with Litecoin. There's only a few coins that are useful in this world, and Ethereum, unfortunately, is becoming less and less useful. And anybody who thinks Cardano is useful, that's like the biggest scam. Like literally, I love Charles.
But their community, man, they are some passionate folks in that Cardano community, and they will rally the troops, man. They feel like, you kick the Cardano hive, you better watch out.
I'm scared.
I've been lit up like a Christmas tree by the Cardano crew, man. They will,
whatever. I don't care.
They will troll you like nobody's business, man. They got some serious trolls over there.
I got some serious maxis that got my back.
Oh yes, or the XRP community as well.
XRP army, they're pretty tough.
They're almost as bad as the Swifties, man. Like you piss off the Swifties, that's like pissing off the XRP crowd, man. You're done. You're gonna get flamed, and just don't even look at your socials for like 48 hours.
But like I tell people, like at least XRP works. Cardano doesn't work, right? Like I literally just tried to send my last bit of Cardano, like $60 of Cardano. I was trying to send it to Coinbase because I wanted to buy some more Propy, right? Because that's a shit coin I've been holding for a while. That's the one, they're doing NFTs, properties, etc. And I just wanted to buy, like a dollar cost average, get out of that, amazing shit coinery called Cardano, and get into something that actually does something. And I go to try and send it. Oh, you cannot send your Cardano at this time. Please try again later. Try again. You can send your Cardano. Make sure the wallet's updated. Update the wallet. It was already updated. My wallet's fine. Try again. Couple days later, try again. Wow. Yeah, Cardano is great. I love it. It's so awesome. I can't send my $60 anywhere. It's so fucking great. I love it. Cardano. Yeah. Fuck off.
On that note, I think we got to put this thing to bed. We'll call it good for another episode. Proof of work. The Oracle, Gerald Bata, Mr. 313, always ahead of the curve. Always appreciate your insights, and it's always fun to connect with you here on the Bitcoin Live Network. And thank you to Nick and everybody on the team and the family for putting this thing together week in and week out.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you as well for always hanging there with me, because I
Oh,
know
yeah.
I can be verbose sometimes, and
That's why we love you, buddy. That's why we love you. You bring that spicy verbosity. I don't even know that's a word, but it is now. I just made it.
It
up.
is. That is a word.
Verbosity.
But just be aware, my GR313 account on X has been suspended for some time because I my freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech was brought into question. But my new account is Crypto Customer Service. I think it's Crypto Serve or something like that. But you can see it. It's been through the show. It should be up there. Follow me if you can. And thanks again to Nick. He does a great job as always. And thanks again to our sponsor, Quantum Expeditions, Quantum Economics, and the folks at Shield Folio. Oh yeah, that's the old account. Thank you, Nick.
You've been banned.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yes, thank you so much to the team at Bitcoin Live for always helping out and making this a fun show. And remember, Bitcoin's hash rate is going higher. Yes, Zettahash. It is going. Oh yeah, that is really cool. Shield Folio. The really cool feature of Shield Folio is, you can write your seed phrase down in this nice little book, and it's all done with this magic ink pen, and you can't see the words. So your seed phrase is pretty much safe until it's put under a light. You can't read it.
Oh wow.
Pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
All right, I'm looking for a new hardware wallet, so maybe I'm gonna have to get one from Shield Folio.
Yeah, it's basically that's to protect your seed phrases.
Let me ask you this really quick: will it protect me if I take it on a boat?
It is waterproof, so yes.
Good. So in case I'm out yachting this weekend or next weekend on Lake Washington, and
your seed phrase is safe. Yeah,
it floats. It's a floating wallet. Okay, great. It's got a little pop-out life preserver or something. I don't know what they're doing there, but they're pretty savvy. Shield Folio. That's why I'm going to get me one.
All right, guys.
From boating accidents.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
Don't fall into the drink.